Guys, before I go on with this video, I just want to put this out there. Never take an ex back, no matter what.
6 years later, I realized I divorced my ex-husband out of spite and deeply regretting it. I'm a 37-year-old woman, and there's some painful honesty ahead. Need to say this to internet strangers because I haven't yet admitted it to anyone in my life yet. My divorce was ugly, involving 3 very young kids, all under age 5, one 6 months old. I cut off my parents and friends for not supporting the divorce. The marriage itself needed work. I don't know for sure whether my ex would have been able to do the work to be a supportive partner. And that part is okay to me, and I accept it. But my decision itself to divorce didn't come from a place of thoughtful reflection. It came from a childish place of arrogance, spitefulness, vindictiveness, manipulation, and a victim mentality. And it is all dawning on me now, 6 years later, how shitty that was and how unfair that was to me and my children. Part of this realization comes from the fact that life has thoroughly humbled me and kicked me in the arse since my divorce. I was far more financially secure in my marriage. I have been teetering on the brink of bankruptcy for the past 3 years. I was far less lonely, and from dating, I've seen that my ex is very typical of most men. I mean, he was not a particularly heinous villain. He was the median or mean. Part of the reason that life has been so tough since my divorce is the timing of it. I don't miss the marriage itself. I don't really regret it ending, but because I was doing it out of spite and to get my husband to behave. I did it in the worst way possible. No planning went into it. Although I had young kids, my parents offered to house me and my kids until I could stabilize. I refused. As a result of trying to go it alone for the past 6 years, I am up to my eyeballs in debt, constantly stressed, and generally unhappy. I am realizing now that ending a marriage is a huge deal, and it would have been best to think it through and give myself and my children an exit strategy or a soft place to land from where we could rebuild. I am several states away from my family, and at this point, I'm so deep in the mess I created. I sort of have no choice but to work my way out. I remember arrogantly thinking that I would be remarried within 5 years after my divorce was finalized. That is a pipe dream. And it's not even because I haven't dated a lot. I have. Or had boyfriends. I have. It's because of a realization that there is an epidemic of men who are still struggling or learning to be supportive partners, and also realizing that my financial situation is an absolute dumpster fire and it would be unfair to hoist it on someone else. I feel almost a relief in admitting all this. Playing the victim year in and year out has been exhausting. I didn't even realize that I was doing that. But seeing how removing my ex-husband from my life didn't make it any better has been eye-opening. What I mean is, I'm still me. And the things that were problematic about me when I was married are still here. And so new messes and problems have emerged and filled the space where my ex-husband was once. I am not saying all this to shit on myself. It's because I'm realizing that real self-love is holding myself accountable for my bullshit. And treating myself as a victim is not love. My marriage was somewhat exploitative of me and my finances or domestic labor, but it was not at all verbally or physically abusive. I had the power and autonomy to advocate for myself within the marriage. And, as I said, if the marriage needed to end, and I do believe it did, I could have advocated for myself and my children in such a way that damage was mitigated. But I went scorched earth, and the only person I burned was myself. Thank you for listening to me have this horrific realization.
Men, never take an ex back. Even if they're an impulsive person who makes rash life decisions, or they took their time to make a decision that they knew would hurt you. Either way, they've shown that they're willing to put themselves first and above you. They don't miss or love you. They just miss or love the feeling you gave them. That's why it takes regret or them feeling miserable before they reach out. If they found someone who makes them just as happy, if not happier, they would not have reached out. They honestly don't care about you. They will always put themselves first. You're just a means to an end. Don't make the same mistake I did and go back to your ex. It just won't be the same, especially if it dumped you. You deserve better because they gave up when you didn't. You still believed and loved when they stopped, even if it was for a brief moment. Even though being with them was the only thing I ever wanted, it just isn't the same. The happiness I feel isn't the same anymore. The love that was once there is tainted. It just feels like I'm betraying the person who cried every night alone. The one who promised to be better, but ended up throwing away the progress made. So please take my advice and don't take them back like me. I promise you're strong enough to make it through. Do not give any room for them to contact you. Block them on everything. You do not want this person. You want someone who never left in the first place. You need to fix your mentality and believe that breakups are a blessing in disguise. You may not understand why it happened now, but I promise you will understand it in the future. Once you get past the grieving stage, the feelings will fade, and you will no longer wake up with the thought of them. Please push through it and don't go back, because I promise you, it will be worth it. I know you're probably missing your ex, but please think this through rationally. If they texted you right this second and begged for you to take them back, would you? It's okay to say yes. The real question is, why would you? Do you really want to go back to feeling unhappy and being hurt all over again? Is it really worth sacrificing your mental health because you love this person? I got back with my ex, and let me tell you, it was the same fucking shit all over again. She was still a selfish arse, and we still argued about the same stuff. Why would I want to go back to that a third time? And I loved this person. Despite our differences, we had a bond that I had never experienced with anyone else before. I thought we were going to have a future together, and it all came crashing down with just a few words. So sit down and think about all the crap she put you through. Did she abuse you? Did she ever make you feel as if you weren't good enough for her? Did you ever have to walk on eggshells with her? Did she lie to you? Cheat on you? Manipulate you into thinking that you were the crazy and manipulative one? Did she leave you out of the blue and left you wondering where you went wrong? Were you her doormat, just another something that she could walk on? After hearing these questions, would you still say yes to getting back with her? The hard truth is, if it isn't going to work the first time, chances are it most likely won't work the second time either. There are some occasions when people get back together and they live happily ever after. 67% of second marriages end in divorce. Why take that chance? Don't dwell on what could have been, or what should have been, or what would have been. A broken relationship is like a broken plate. It takes effort to glue it and fix it up. Even though it may seem mended, there are still cracks, and it is just as fragile as before. Men, you're the prize. You're worth more than that. And believe me, when I say this now, you're worth more than going back to someone who is just going to put you through the same bullshit as before. You deserve happiness, unconditional love, and a relationship worth fighting for. You deserve someone who would never even think about putting themselves in a position to lose you. And I guarantee you most definitely won't find that in your ex. You can't find love in the same place you lost it. So keep moving forward. Better days are ahead, and they will not include your ex. That's all for today on Manhood. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe buttons, and also click on the notification bell to be the first to know when I drop a new video. If you find value in my videos, you can show your support through PayPal or Cash App. The links are in the description. See you next time. Cheers.